for the planet.
The following is a paid program. The opinions are those of the hosts and guests and not necessarily those of the station or its management.
This is the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Our topics are large and small. When you really need to know, we are the show. You want to know, it's time to talk to you.
Live stream, then you can do that by just simply punching in WCRN in TuneIn, and you're good to go. We're also live streaming on the a couple of Facebook or some of the social media platforms, right? Twitter account, Facebook account, LinkedIn page, Twitch TV, and YouTube channel. Just check it out. Our handle for all social media is Joe Mangi Show, Mangi. All right, a lot going on. Today, we laid to rest Madeleine Albright. She was a Czech immigrant. She became the first female Secretary of State in U.S. history. First female Secretary of State. She passed away at 84, battled with cancer. A longtime foreign policy veteran. She became our top diplomat in 1997, and that was during the Clinton administration. She was hailed as champion of democracy. She was instrumental in efforts to the end of the ethnic cleansing in Kosovo. Her family confirmed that she passed from cancer. She was surrounded by family and friends, and she was beloved. And it was, I remember the hoopla at the time of the first female Secretary of State. We had a lot of talk in those days in the media about a step closer to the first female president. Now we have the first female vice president of color. Former President George W. Bush said that Albright understood firsthand the importance of free societies for peace in our world. That's true. She was born Mary Jane Korbelva in Prague in 1937 in what was then Czechoslovakia. Albright was the daughter of a Czechoslovakian diplomat who was forced into exile after the occupation of his countries by the Nazi regime in 1939. And she moved to the States in 1948. The same year, her family applied for political asylum, arguing that they were unable to return to home as opponents of their country's communist regime. She became a U.S. citizen in 1957. Madeleine Albright. The president spoke earlier at the ceremony, and she was laid to rest. So this is, it's a sad day. We lost her. She was, she did a good job. I know she was under a Democratic president, but she did a good job for the country. I don't remember her as being as a political person, and I can be totally wrong in not remembering that right. 508-871-7000. The other thing is we have this. Oh, by the way, I'm sure you caught this, right? Vice President Harris is 2-time boosted, but is positive for COVID virus. Asymptomatic. She's not showing anything, but it's interesting. They had that gridiron dinner a couple of weeks ago. And of course, if that was a Republican administration, right, that would have been a super spreader. But when they're a sophisticated gathering, as we were told with the Obama birthday party. When it's a sophisticated gathering, they seem to know what they're doing, and we're all good. So, just so you know that. But we have the what is it? The correspondence dinner is coming up, and this week, and that's when all of the media personnels and talking heads, not this one, but the big ones in the Beltway, all go to this dinner. Now the president is slated to go. Um, should he go though? So the question is, should he go? The answer coming out, of course, is we know how to do this. It can be done safe if he masks up and observes some protocols. He should be able to go and he should be fine. But we also know that Joe Biden tends to have some confusion as to the appropriate time to wear a mask and not wear a mask. Right? He wears it out on the lawn walking to the helicopter, but takes it off when he's coming up close to talk to people. Maybe he's confusing it with oxygen out on the lawn, and I don't know what he's thinking. That's an understatement. But should he go? Isn't that a dangerous thing for a man of his age and the danger zone? But we'll see. We'll see. It's still a few days. They can cancel it or they can still go. All right. So this is a topic, folks. 508-871-7000. What say you on it? It's the student debt situation. And I'm backing this because it looks as though Biden is going to give in to the Elizabeth Warrens and the squad and OAC and all of the pressure from those ultra left progressives who think that should be done. So he's looking at eliminating 1.6 trillion, sink in, $1.6 trillion in student loan debt by executive order, of course. Can he even do that? I mean, this is just an area that bothers me so much. There's just the concept of forgiving student debt. And if it is a problem, then handle like we would any other problems with debt. Predatory lenders, right? We had that problem in the mortgage industry. Well, maybe we should look at predatory schools and the when we look at the increase in tuitions in these schools, and I maintain that the tuition's gone up more because student money was made available easier, that they could get the money out of them, not that they needed it. And you could also argue, do they need to pay instructors hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, administrators $500,000, $600,000, $800,000? Some of these presidents of universities are making seven figures. There's a lot of brick and mortar, right? We have a lot of brick and mortar buildings. Do we need to have these? I mean, what are they really doing to these brick and mortar buildings? Are they making them bigger? Because from what I see, more and more are going online. Mainstream universities and colleges are seeing that they're missing an entire student population with online students. So they've all of a sudden upping that, right? UMass has done it. It's not just the Phoenix of Arizona type thing. And the thing about this is that 10% of the people with those loans that need it, the 10%, that 40%, only 40% are those lower class marginalized people. But so the majority of the money that are going to go into student loan debt, it's actually going to white, high income, better educated people who tend to pay it off. And the people with the $10,000 and $20,000, $30,000 loans, they're working to pay those off. It's the people with the $200,000 loans that want to walk away from it and don't want to deal with that. So, according to the Harvard polls, right, it went from 61% down to 41% of job opportunities with a degree. That's interesting. So I don't understand this. You have every option in the world not to go to college, or to go to a different college, to go to a cheaper college, to go to a community college, to go to college online, to go at night and part-time, or to go into a trade school or business or some other thing. But the point is, if you elect to do it and you sign on that contract, you owe the money. And what about all of the people who sacrificed and did it right? The students that worked a job at night, or even a couple of jobs to get through college, and the family that sacrificed family vacations, a bigger house, newer cars, better clothes, dining out more, so that their kids would graduate with no or very little debt. What do you say to them? How is that fair to them? And what about the person who chose the trade school? Are you going to also pay for that trade school? Or are you going to give them the equivalent of a college education to start a business? This is asinine. It is totally your decision as to whether or not you take it. 508-871-7000. What say you? Who do we have on the line? Go ahead. You're on.
Look at this. My father was head of the pipe fitters union in the city, and I come from a large family of brothers and sisters. My daughter's going back. I'm professionally employed. I went to the University of Massachusetts for law school, got my business degree. My daughter is going to school nights now for accounting online, and we pay as we go. The schools taunt them, their financial aid departments, especially if they have good grades, to continue to take out loans as part of their financial aid package. This is an absolute sin. I'm not much of a protester, but I tell you, if one pipe fitter or one carpenter or one truck driver or one laborer has to foot the bill for any college loan forgiveness, I will be in the street. I will leave my job, I will leave my family, and I will be in the street fighting it. This is the most awful reassortment of wealth.
Yeah, redistribution of wealth, big time. But I got news for you. It's happening because $1.6 trillion in student loan debt forgiveness. Where do you think that is coming from? Where do you think it's coming from? Your taxes, my taxes. We are paying it.
The classic version or construct for inflation is when you pump government money into something, you get higher prices.
Hey, I'm going to have to you can stay on, but I'm against a hard break on the computer. I really can't control it. The Joe Mangiacotti Show, AM 830 WCRN. Stick with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey everybody, Ryan Maloney here from It's the Liquor Talking, letting you know that you can hear us Saturday mornings at 11, but also at our new time, weeknights, right after Howie Carr at 7 p.m. It doesn't stop there. Randall and I are going to stick around and host North Star Music after the show. So join us for New England's only show about wine and spirits, and then pour yourself a glass of your favorite adult beverage. Enjoy Randall and I as we listen to your favorite music on the North Star.
Metro West real estate market have you a little crazy? Call 508-733-6005 for a private consultation with award-honored realtors Gary Kelly and Sue Gordon of La Macchia Realty. They'll help you make the right move. 508-733-6005 or movewithgary.com.
Chris Thompson here, station manager at WCRN. I need salespeople. If you're retired or a stay-at-home mom looking to make a few extra dollars, this opportunity is perfect for you. Work part-time, set your own schedule. It's fun. We provide the training you need to succeed. The only thing better than listening to Howie Carr is selling Howie Carr. If you're outgoing, not afraid to learn new things, and would like to earn some extra money, call me at 508-870-5803, extension 222. Stop making money selling radio.
WCRN is an equal opportunity employer.
You just may have the best podcast anywhere.
Blah, 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 blah.
But who knows it exists? Hello? Get your podcast to broadcast on radio. Create a podcast. Improve your podcast sound with professional production and editing. Record your podcast in a real radio studio. Visit podcasttobroadcast.org today. Get your podcast on the radio with podcasttobroadcast.org.
If you see something,
Do something.
be the difference.
This is the Joe Mangiacotti Show. We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
All right, welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. A caller hung up, but got his point. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. The student loan debt argument isn't an argument as far as I'm concerned. I can't be. It's got to be that Joe Biden, who's being manipulated anyway, and constantly have the people surrounding him whispering in his ear and handling this guy. They've got to be maybe taking the attitude that they know that this is a tsunami coming. Every midterm president loses a few seats in the midterms, right? It happens. It's a cycle. It always happens. This, though, and it's not just the Republicans saying this. Prominent left pollsters and politicians see it coming, and they see it coming because of the fact that the Democratic Party, who's the most vocal, I'm not talking about the common sense Democrats who are moderate Democrats. It's the loud, squeaky, noisy ones who are out there still with the verbiage of defund the police, the whole thing, if you want a secure border, you're racist, all of that. Even the education, going against the parental rights bill in Florida. We saw what happened with the elections. In the whole thing here is I've said this and other people agree with me. This is the year of the parents. They've poked that bear. They've woken the sleeping giants, and they've really TO'd parents because the unintended consequences of those Zoom classes where they brought the classroom into your living room, big mistake, progressives, because you woke up the parents. You gave them an earful of what you were teaching and talking about, and it was a surprise to them. It's not what they thought you were talking about. It's not what they thought was being taught. So it's going to be huge. And I think at this point, they're saying to Biden, what do you have to lose? He's maintaining that he's going to run again. Right? Said this to Barack Obama when he was there for the anniversary of the Obamacare thing. And I think maybe somebody in the Obama camp leaked it out. How does Kamala feel about that? I think she thought she was just keeping the seat warm until 2024. And the Democratic Party doesn't think they can. She's been dropped in the rankings, right? They put Mayor Pete above her for a candidate. And I think if Biden seriously continues to want to run again, isn't that just going to force Donald Trump to run? It really will. If he steps down or just says, hey, I'm not running again, it might give the opportunity for Trump to make way for DeSantis or something like that. But they're looking at such incredible shift in Congress, in both chambers. And I do think that you're going to see it, because if you start looking at the Senate seats and how many senators and reps are leaving, right? I think we're either at 30. We might have broken 30. We'd have to look it up. But we're around 30 of them are not running again. They're just not seeking re-election, or they're going for a different office so that they don't get whooped in their seat and they lose their seat. They rather leave it on their own terms, right? So they're saying to Joe Biden, what do you have to lose? Just do all of this stuff. You've already done, the border's open. Right? This isn't it's not incompetency of what's happening on the border. He wants that. That's what they want. In the way that they treated the drowning death of Bishop Evans, Specialist Bishop Evans, who was a National Guardsman, and Jen Psaki's response to this question about him. Now, I don't know. I hope that she didn't mean to sound as tactless and callous and just, just gross as she did. I hope that it was unintentional, but she was so dismissive in trying to say he's really a state employee, as if a clerk at the DMV had an industrial accident or something. It was just a state employee. No, this was a soldier who saw real action and was only in the position he was in because your boss, the President of the United States, was not doing his constitutional duty, was not performing as the president should, not fulfilling the responsibilities of protecting our country and our sovereign border. That's the only reason he's there. The only reason he's there is because the governor of that state had to take action when that responsibility doesn't belong to the governors. But in an absence of leadership, leadership will rise. And it did. And that's why Bishop Evans was there. And when he saw fellow human beings in trouble, off came the body armor, off came whatever else, either the wallets, the watches, the cell phone, whatever, and in he went. And he did save them. But that undertow grabbed him and took him, and that was that. And someone brought up, and it might have been on the 5 the other day, but it brought up a good point. If he hadn't done that, and there was video of those immigrants, those illegals that were struggling, those drug dealing illegals, by the way, if they had video of them going under and we losing them, that would have been on a loop on some of the alphabet networks, right? We would have been inundated with that visual of National Guard people watching people go under and drown. But when their life is exchanged to save them, they're just state employees. Remind you of that. As far as I'm concerned, Jen Psaki, you cannot get out of that position fast enough. You can't. You're a horrible liar. I don't know who's going to take the job because it's a tough job to have to do. But on the whole border response, right? So you have Mayorkas testifying now about this, about the border. And he's even saying that the lifting of Title 41 can't happen. Excuse me, Title 42. I don't know where 41 came. Title 42 can't happen. He needs to do his job. And he needs to say, I got to be able to do my job, and you're making it very hard. Right now, we're averaging 7,138 illegal crossings, not counting the getaways, a day, not a month, a day. And all the border officials are saying and predicting that once we lift Title 42, we're looking at 18,000 a day. And Mayorkas and DHS said we can hold 18,000 for one day. Well, what happens with day 2? With 36? You can't. It will literally be a flood of bodies coming over the southern border of all ages, shapes, sizes, backgrounds, intentions. Why is this so hard to secure the border? We can do it. It's not hard. I don't mean why is it hard to do it physically? We can do it overnight. But why is it so hard for this administration to recognize and just secure the borders? Because we can't have a decent, legitimate conversation about immigration reform or even border security until you stop the bleeding. It's a triage situation, right? What's the first thing you do? You put a tourniquet on, you stop the bleeding, and then you figure out the next best step. Well, that's what's going to happen here. And Dan Crenshaw, he's a Republican congressman from Texas. I'm sure most of you know who he is. He's served, lost an eye, serving the country in a hot zone. And he's saying that, give Mayorkas a chance to say, I need to do my job. Or he could be facing impeachment come January next year from a Republican Congress for not doing his job. And now Mayorkas is testifying, and he's saying that he has this 20-page plan. Get this, 20-page plan. But the 20-page plan happens to be what the U.S. Code says for immigration. It's exactly what the law is. Think about that for a moment. What do you need the 20-page? We already have U.S. Code on immigration. We have immigration laws. Enforce the laws that we already have, folks, and you don't need anything else. Thank you, Director Mayorkas. 20-page plan. Oh, you know what? You just cut and copied and pasted it from the U.S. Code. Why now do you say the solution is to actually enforce the existing law? It's been available to you the entire time. The entire time. Right? I don't understand why all of a sudden this is it. We got the solution. Oh, look. Somebody already put it down. Oh, Congress did. It's called immigration law. Let's put that in act. And on top of that, right, if you remember, Trump tried to immigration reform bill, and that didn't get anywhere. And he put the MPP in, migrant protection protocols. Can talk about that a little bit on the other side. We're going to have to take a break here at the bottom of the hour on the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. That's 508-871-7000. Lines are open and available in solo, so there's no call screening. You'll hear some clicks in just the show, and then I'll say, hey, what do you have to say? That's how that works today when I am solo with no producer on. 508-871-7000. And we'll be back on the other side of the break here for the second half of the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Vicki Graff, and here's your latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. After a soggy night, we are going to see a little bit of sunshine through the afternoon. Temperatures will climb into the mid-50s. It is going to be a little bit on the windy side, but most of us stay dry throughout the rest of the day. We'll cool off into the 30s overnight tonight. Thursday will be bright but breezy with highs getting into the low 50s. I'm Vicki Graff, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
Dr. Satya Mitra has journeyed from a childhood of poverty and homelessness to a successful career as a financial advisor, motivational speaker, and community leader. Now inspired by his guru, he uses his experiences to positively affect the lives of underprivileged people. We strive to house our blindness, poverty, homelessness, female empowerment, and good citizenship initiatives within the Joy Guru Humanitarian Center. If you wish to contribute or know deserving persons or initiatives that could use our assistance, please contact us at 508-641-8441.
This is Dean's yard, and Dean's a pretty observant guy, but sneaky crabgrass lurks undetected until it rears its hideous head this summer. However, Dean's not only observant, he's smart. He uses Scott's Turf Builder Holt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food in early spring. It protects against crabgrass all season long, while feeding the lawn for a fast green up, guaranteed. So this spring, Dean can stop crabgrass dead in its crab tracks. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Holtz today.
Hi, this is Jerry Doherty from Making Money Last. If you think the economy is doing well, I've got even more good news. Making Money Last will now be heard right here on WCRN 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 11 to noon. So be sure to tune in.
This is the Joe Mangiacotti Show. We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. And you can join the conversation at 508-871-7000, 508-871-7000. We've been talking about the border, Mayorkas, his responsibility, this great 20-page plan that he's about to, I guess he's released today, which is in essence just, U.S. code on immigration, that is. 508-871-7000. Let's go to Ken. Ken's been waiting during the break. Hey, Ken. Afternoon. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Joe. Before we jump to the topic that you were speaking, I just wanted to pass on personal information.
Sure.
And that is I almost had a first today.
Yeah?
Filling my heating oil tank.
Uh-oh.
Almost four figures.
Get out of here. You were into the 900s?
Oh, yeah. Closer to, rounding up to 1,000.
My goodness. That's tough. And that will last how long? You get 3 months out of it?
Well, this time of the year, I should be good to October.
Yeah. What about the heated pool and jacuzzis, though? Isn't that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's tough. You're facing that, right? To, fill up the oil tank. If you have electric heat and baseboards, folks, and electric water heaters, that bill's that's gonna be outrageous. It's outrageous. And you're filling up the car, right? I don't let my tank go to empty, and just because, well, a couple of reasons. One is it's not healthy for the car, right? You should never go all the way empty and sucking up that soot at the bottom of it. But also, I don't like to get in the car and need to go somewhere and have under like a quarter tank of gas. I get close to a half a tank, I fill it up. So I'm not hitting the $90, $100 because when I fill up, it's a half a tank or less, but it's still, I see the jump. And everybody's feeling it, right? In the grocery store. I'm lucky. The kids are grown. Everyone's out of the house. I don't know what you have, Ken, at home. I know you have new grandchild, but out of your house. But what about your kids, right? They have a growing family. I mean, how are people going to handle this, folks? This is across the board. This is killing us.
Well, this is the message to kick the bums out. Very simple, folks. How'd this happen? How did this happen? And he started right on the first day of office.
Yeah.
Doing everything he could to conduct a war against fossil fuels. And I know there are a lot in the state who like the idea of a war against fossil fuels, but good luck when you fight it. These are the consequences.
But not only do they like the idea of being against fossil fuels, they like the idea of causing the pain, because causing pain at the pump, $7, $8 a gallon, is the objective to many people on the green side of things, right? The progressive liberals, that's their attack plan, is to make it painful at the pump, because they think if it's painful enough at the pump that we're going, we're not intelligent beings, right? We're plebes, we're mice in an experiment here. If they touch that, it burns. Oh, that hurts. They'll go the other direction. Well, if it hurts too much to fill up at the pump, we'll bite the bullet and buy a $60,000 electric car. Where do you think the car gets the electricity, folks? This is the part of the conversation that they need to be pushed on, because not only does that electricity have to come usually from fossil fuel somewhere, right? It's coming from a coal plant usually. It's not coming from green energy. And electric cars themselves are far from green. Those batteries are toxic waste when they're done. And putting them together, we're mining cobalt and lithium and minerals from mines. And guess who a lot of the labor are in Africa mines that we have to pull this out? and stuff. The child labor law, right? Child labor is bringing a lot of this to you. If you look into it, it's not the best solution. Green energy and green cars and electric cars, they need to come to us in the same way that the combustion engine did. Over time, with the free market adjusting to the demand and being innovative, right? They coming up. If you go back to the 70s, Ken, what was the thing? Gas mileage. In the 70s, we had big clunkers. And I my first car was a 1973 Lincoln Town Car, a 455 4-barrel, right? The gas gauge moved at the same rate as the speedometer in the other direction. But by the 80s, late 70s, 80s, car companies did what? They started to get gas mileage up. They built the cars lighter and smaller. They improved the carburetors, eventually go into fuel injection, right? They followed the demand. And the purchase of those things that people wanted in the free market gave them the R&D money to make better cars and continue to make better cars. This feels like this is being rammed down our throat, regardless of what other countries are doing, because when you compare our pollution, our air is far cleaner now than it was 15, 20 years ago. Our water, cleanest on the earth. While India and China continue to build coal plants and pollute the atmosphere, the air, and the water at rates that we may never have it at this in the history of this country.
All true. And I just want to cross back, though, to your first topic. Congressman Crenshaw suggesting that our HHS secretary be impeached when the Republicans take over Congress. And that is a perfect idea, because it really gets people focused on the hierarchy of power, because they sort of think that, we just have the equivalent of a dictator or whoever, if we like the person as president, then everything they want, they get.
Yeah.
And
like they're members of the court.
Them just have to follow.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, the Secretary Mayorkas took a oath, didn't he, when taking office?
He took the same oath. They all do about.
And what's that oath about?
Well,
isn't that to the Constitution?
Constitution, and from enemies, foreign and domestic.
And part of that is, Congress is empowered certain things, and Congress has passed laws to protect border. And isn't he violating his oath to the
absolutely?
Constitution?
And that's what Congressman Crenshaw is saying: is do your job. Your job is clearly laid out.
And we should tell the voters it's time that not only this administration do their job, but they need to do their job in kicking them out because they're failing to.
Yeah.
That's simple. Bill Belichick, just do your job.
Do your job.
That's a bumper sticker.
Nike got it right years ago. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, that works too.
That just works too. Look, the thing is, this is killing me that this guy is coming out with this 20-page plan. And he says, he's going to present it. And people got a good look at it. And they said, that's what we call the United States Code. That's already the law. So now you're saying our solution to the border is to enforce the laws that have been on the books this entire time. Sorry for
and from what I understand, there was news yesterday on this issue also. Apparently, a court ruled that, they have to obey Title 42. Not that I think that matters all that much, because Title 42 is based on there being a pandemic, and I don't think we have a pandemic anymore. So I'd rather kind of separate from that issue.
But see, now, the irony here is Title 42 does actually fall under CDC, and if you want to really push Title 42 was not created for COVID-19. It existed long before. It's just that the Trump administration applied rules. The Trump administration was very good because they were under constant attack, and they got pushed back. Right, they got pushed back for everything. So they did a lot of research to see what laws were already in place, including finagling, moving money from the Navy over here and under certain verbiage to build the wall. Because they wouldn't flat out give him the funding. Remember that? He got the funding in piecemeal, and he did it. And then he used the MPP, Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as Wade in Mexico, right? And that makes a lot of sense because and this is the thing I've mentioned before, Ken, and I don't know if people get this. All these people who are coming to us and saying, I'm seeking asylum. Well, first of all, if you're Mexican, what are you really running from? I mean, you're not in a war. Yeah, you can start going the drug cartel route, but you can have a hearing on that. So the point is that most people who are coming to our southern border in Mexico have come from somewhere else, meaning they've traveled through Mexico. In the understanding, the international acceptance and understanding on seeking asylum is that you seek asylum in the first nation that you reach that will grant it to you, or that you can ask for it. So once you've traveled to 2, 3, 4, or you crossed an ocean to get to South America, go through a couple of countries to get to the United States, the whole idea of asking for asylum is gone. You've had multiple chances to seek asylum before reaching our border, which is why we say, wait in Mexico. If you're coming from Mexico, they should be granting you asylum, not us. And only 13% of those adjudicated are ever even granted on asylum that come from Mexico. 13%. So the fact that you have the numbers of people coming over, 8,000 people a day, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. What's the end game here? And Ken, you're still on. What's the end game? What is the end game for opening these borders, flooding the country with literally millions of people who we don't know exactly who they are, what their background is, what their intentions are, how they're going to support themselves, what kind of a drain? I'm looking at price tag of $9.4 billion, right, is the price tag for so far this year for illegal immigration. And the wall, the whole argument about the wall, that went out a long time ago, folks. Long time ago.
So the end game, Joe, is they think they're doing voter harvesting.
Recruiting. There you go.
Voter harvesting. Don't you like that term?
Voter harvesting. You got it. All right, I'm going to have to hold you there because we're going to take a break here. We'll take this break and come back for the fourth and final segment of the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. Live streaming on the TuneIn app, live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and even Twitch TV. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment.
New studies and testimonials are streaming in across the country, describing the many benefits found at CBD BioNaturals. One benefit is improved sleep. During sleep, your immune system releases proteins called cytokines, needed to fight infections, inflammation, and stress. See for yourself how CBD BioNaturals may help you fall and stay asleep and assist your immune system with the release of cytokines, proteins you need to fight infections, inflammation, and stress, just when you need it most. Improve your overall health and your state of mind with these CBD you know and trust. Manufactured to the highest standards, made in the USA, shipped for free with a 100% satisfaction guaranteed. The safe and effective, all-natural, non-addictive, holistic alternative that provides proven health benefits. See how it works at cbdbionow.com, because now is the time to improve and protect your health. Visit cbdbionow.com. That's cbdbionow.com.
Expert Agents Realty is a family-owned real estate firm with offices in 2 locations, Northborough and East Longmeadow. For 25 years, Mark Toomey, the owner-broker of Expert Agents Realty, has focused on providing buyer and seller clients the highest level of service in the industry. A licensed real estate broker, Mark has sold hundreds and hundreds of properties for clients in the Metro West and Worcester County areas, specializing in residential sales, single-family condominiums, multifamily homes, and land. working with all types of buyers and sellers, including first-time buyers, retirees, investors, and builders. Being a full-service broker means handling every aspect of the buying and selling process, working with a team of local lenders, attorneys, and other industry professionals to help ensure a smooth buying and selling process. Call Mark today at 508-393-3383 and put the power of experience to work for you in your search for a new home.
This is the Joe Mangiacotti Show. We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you. There's one for you, 19 for me.
All right, folks, welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the Wednesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 o'clock, and Sunday morning, 6 a.m. for the Sunday morning talk block. Myself, like Mike Wade, Peter Blute, and Jerry Doherty jumps in there at 9:30 for a segment with Peter Blute on Sunday mornings, folks. All right, we're live streaming on Twitter. Lines are open and available. 508-871-7000. 508-871-7000. Solo here, so no producer. You'll just hear some clicks and so forth. So Twitter sale with Elon Musk is absolutely melting down the left. This is nuts, right? The concept of free speech is crazy to the left. Avi Melber, right? This guy from MSNBC. I watched him talk about this, and he said, "Oh my God, one person privately owning a platform, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, what they could do." And then he goes to describe exactly what happened with the Hunter Biden laptop story. He said they could turn down one side's tweets, one side's postings, and turn the other side up and block complete stories. And we wouldn't know about it till after the election. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, does he not understand what he just described is exactly what went on with Twitter? New York Post, Hunter Biden's laptop story. Are you kidding me? Exactly what happened. And you've got Elon Musk, who no one really knows the guy's politics. I'm assuming he's probably kind of a libertarian guy. And he's said it. Free speech is his problem. No, excuse me. Free speech is the problem, not his problem. He's the solution, it seems. And I think that when Ukraine is in war, under attack, and he sees one of the first things Putin's going to do is control the internet and shut down social media, he turns on his Starlink system, the series of those satellites, to offer high-speed internet to anywhere on the planet, folks. It's a company, one of his companies been working on. He's going to break it off. Get in on that IPO if you can. Just saying. Not giving you financial advice. Saying I would like to. Get in on that. These satellites will give you faster internet speed than you get with Xfinity or Charter or whatever. Whether you're in the middle of the desert, the middle of the ocean, the middle of the Amazon. So he turns it on. This is what's been allowing the people of Ukraine to continue to post. It's what allows President Zelensky to pop up like that the game where you hit the gopher's head or something. Pops up here. You see him walking around and he disappears. Nobody knows where he is. He pops up somewhere else. He makes a post. He's on video Zoom calls with the UN and our Congress and heads of state, and they can't get him. And that's mostly thanks to Elon Musk. And I think that he saw this, and he saw the story with the Babylon Bee, and he said, hey, you can't do that. And they kind of pissed the wrong guy off because this guy has enough money to say, I don't like what you're doing to free speech. And he's saying free speech that is within the law is what's needed, not any more, not any less. And that's and any speech less rather is it's not what the people wanted. And that's what he's bringing to Twitter is the free speech. And when you look at the 2018 donations of the employees of Twitter, 98+% donated to Democrat candidates. 98% of Twitter employees and management donated personal funds to Democratic candidates. So I think what's happening and what's going to happen is the so-called fact checkers are going to get exposed for what they really are. The algorithms that they've been using, they're going to get exposed. And I think what's going to happen is, unlike what the left chatterboxes are saying, and the Sunny whatever her name is, and the other one over there, and this one in Alphabet, oh my God, they're going to silence the Democrats and all, liberals, and we're only going to hear conservative. No, he's going to turn the volume up for both sides. I don't think, and I challenge you to convince me that he is going to reverse the status that is, or the status that was, meaning conservatives are shadow banned and banned straight out, kicked off, and only the certain ideology is allowed, and that he's going to reverse that. He's not. He's still going to allow that ideology as much as they've had, but he's going to take the reins off of the conservative, and they will get his equal time and equal play, and put the power back into the persons using it. You have the block button. You can elect not to read things, not to follow people. That's all in your power. Give the power back to the individual to use Twitter the way they want to use Twitter, but not let Twitter decide for you. And the other thing that Elon Musk can do is he can expose the algorithms. I would like that there be a preservation order here, and so that we can go back and look at what was being done in the 2020 election, even the 2016 election, because they certainly interfered with the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden. You couldn't even direct message the link of the story from one user to another, not even posting it. That's how much censoring. They gave the largest in-kind contribution probably in the history of a presidential election to Joe Biden's campaign and the 2020 election. No doubt. By manipulating the flow of information, news stories, traffic in the 2020 election, that had to be the largest in-kind contribution ever made. I have no question in my mind about that. So now he's coming on there and he's going to turn up both sides, give it a level playing field. That's it. He says that censorship that goes far beyond the law and those that want less, then let Congress pass laws about that. Government goes beyond the law, it's contrary to the will of the people. Now, the other thing that started happening since all this news came out is naturally a lot of people who gave up Twitter have gone back. Mark Lemine and Hannity, right? They're back on there. I think Howie Carr said he went back on. But also, there's been this huge spike in Twitter followers. So is that really tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands? And if you add it up to everybody, millions of people all of a sudden started saying, I'm going to go on Twitter and start following these conservatives? Or did they loosen up the algorithms? Right? So conservatives have seen these massive leaps in Twitter. And you got to question whether it's reflected a sudden lifting of long suspected shadow banning. Now, Donald Trump Jr. he kind of got out there and led the way with this questioning because he had giant spikes like so many others. He saw a gain of 87,296 new followers by Tuesday. Another 119,000 by early Wednesday. Now, this is after averaging weeks and weeks of averaging only a few thousand each day. So Donald Trump Jr. says, much like his father would, well, I'm awesome and totally deserving of 87,000 new followers a day. It seems that someone took the shackles off my account. And I'd have to say, Don Jr., I think they did. And I think that they're doing this now in anticipation of getting blown out of the water. Of course, right? Wonder if they're burning the evidence before the new management comes in. Well, that's why I hope there's a preservation order in. And if I was Elon Musk, I would tell them that's part of what they need to do. No destroying the records, no destroying the digital footprints, that he wants to look under the hood and see what really is going on. And it seems shadow banning is yet another right-wing conspiracy theory, right? No, it's 100% true. 100%. It's happening. It's always been happening. Regardless of what they wanted to try to tell you, folks. It's always been happening. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. We have less than a couple minutes left. Let's jump to the phones real quick. Caller, go ahead. You're on. Caller?
Yes, that's Udo Erasmus.
Hey, how are you?
I haven't done phone call radio interviews for a while.
That's okay. We don't got a lot of time because we're towards the end of the show. So what did you have on your mind?
Oh, no, I'm supposed to be on the show.
Oh, I got it. You just hang on there. I get it. You're calling for the next show. Very good. No problem. See what happens, folks, when you have live show and no producer there. You just stay right there. Don't worry about it. You're up. You're going to be speaking with Frankie Boyer, who's up next, folks. The Frankie Boyer Show. She's on every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2:00. So that's headed our way. We've got to wrap up this week's edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. I will be back. Well, tomorrow morning, actually, I'll be back because we have Political Thursday with Jerry Doherty at 10 a.m. And then I'll be back Friday afternoon at 1:00 for my Friday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show. So that's what's happening there. Thanks for sticking with AM 830 WCRN. Hey, Frankie Boy is up next. Stay with us.
This is Full Service Radio, AM 830, WCRN, Worcester, Metro West.
Fox News, and I'm Chris Foster. A prediction from the Homeland Security Secretary of a surge at the southern border.
Alejandro Mayorkas expects an increase once a public health order is lifted by the CDC at the end of May.
And we will address this challenge successfully.
Republicans and several Democrats are urging the Biden administration to hold off on ending Title 42, a CDC order limiting migration as a pandemic precaution.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Russia's mostly state-owned energy company has cut off natural gas to Poland and Bulgaria. Edward Lawrence with Fox Business.
Energy experts are telling us that Poland can handle losing that supply. Over the past several years, Poland has built infrastructure to import liquefied natural gas and signed contracts with U.S. companies. Now, those energy experts tell me that this move is meant as a warning to other countries like Germany.
NATO countries also opposing Russia's invasion of Ukraine. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't put mercury in the trash. Don't put mercury in the trash. Fluorescent lamps. Fluorescent lamps. Thermometers. Thermometers. Thermostats. Thermostats. These could all contain mercury, so let's dispose of them properly. Don't put mercury in the trash. Don't put mercury